I think that it is absolutely essential, because when you connect with other government leaders or other people working in the government, you get to share ideas that you couldn't in any other format, right? And even apart from the talks that you listen to, where you learn about the experiences of other government entities, the informal discussions that you have at the tables over lunch, and just sharing experiences lets you know that you're in this together, and other people have been where you are, or they are going where you're going, so that you can form a collective approach to really resolving these wicked issues that the government has, right? And you can even actually develop some lifelong friends through this process, which can carry you through the future. So I think that is critical for the government. Wow. So there's just so much there to unpack, right? I think that really having a clear vision is important, and a vision that can be detailed enough and broken down into bite-sized chunks for everybody to see themselves in the vision, right? So if I'm a developer, I should understand how the vision affects me and what I'm going to do to help the organization achieve the vision, right? And the business, of course, the vision is a vision that is done together with the business. There's no technology projects anymore, it's business and technology projects. So it's important that the vision is crafted together with the business for the future of the organization, right? You have to be clear on the problem you are trying to solve through the vision. You don't create a vision for vision's sake, right? So when the problem is clear, people can rally behind it, right? Because they need a rallying cry to go through a transformation. Because it's not easy to go through a transformation. It takes time, it takes processes, it takes people, change management, it takes a lot of energy. So it's important that that rallying cry or that burning platform is created for why we're going to spend all this energy and time to go through the transformation. Working together with the business is so critical. And IT and the business should be partners in everything. So what we've done is really creating this hybrid or joint teams, so that it's a joint team that's working on the transformation. And so, having the business as the product managers explain agile processes to the business so that they can understand what that means is so critical. And when the business understands it, then IT even has to catch up, because they have a list of things that they want to be done, right? And being intentional about your change management is important. Having a plan around it, but also being able to adjust it as needed, and having it at multiple levels, at the staff level, at the manager level, at the executive level, with your sponsors outside, with your stakeholders. All of these people are going to go through change. With your customers, that's a big part of it, right? Aspect of prototyping and showing something quickly, so that you can develop the prototype and have what you call an MVP, a minimum viable product, or something that is demonstrable to the idea, that can be adjusted over again and again and iterated to get the best option is important. And I would say that you really keeping a focus on your team and the business team, and making sure that they work together well, but also there can be burnout. And because transformations take a long time, people work long hours. So things around mental health, things around making sure that people have breaks, issues around just support for the team, right? And celebrating those small wins, okay? Because celebrations go a long way to keep people motivated, right? To keep working on the team. I think I've talked about technologies. Well, technology is the easy part, actually. But I've talked about the skills and the resources needed, right? If you have a problem, you can find the technology to solve it. That's the easy part, yeah. Oh, wow. So we're working on what we call an architecture technology roadmap, a business architecture technology roadmap. And what we're trying to do is, with our ministry, we have people who come in and they actually come in maybe as even a child, and then they end up, to our social assistance, and they go through our ministry. They might stay with us for years until they are in their 20s. Some cases even further, right? Because we take care of children, community, social services. Unfortunately, 1 in 10 Ontarians is on social service, which is a very sad number. But what we're trying to do is look at we have disparate systems for each of these different areas. We are trying to look at the total customer journey of a person who works with our ministry. How can we improve their customer journey as they work with us and interface through the different departments? So this means that we've got to build out a different layer for people to interact with, and that is very exciting, right? And the potential for that is huge because, for example, if you give us your data once at the beginning, you don't have to give us your data again. Tell us once, right? So even if you transition to another system, we should know who you are, be able to provide the resources that you need, and direct you in options and scenarios as you get to the better future, right? We are looking at things like one of the problems that we've identified is to support the business when it comes to frontline staff. There's a long time that is taken in training frontline staff. You hire a staff member, they are doing frontline work, it takes 6 months, 7 months to train them. So we're looking at a way to use the metaverse to train the frontline staff, right? So creating this virtual reality aspect so that they can go into the metaverse, do their training, get them out on working within a month or two, and the business is very excited about that. Because guess what? We lose people during the 6 months. People come in and they get bored and say, well, what am I doing here? Let me go find another job, right? So that's just one of the innovative things that we're doing. We're also looking at artificial intelligence around our data and our data layer, and looking at scenario building. They're doing a lot of work in terms of scenarios and probabilities for our teams. We've done some work around RPA, robotic process automation, and really been able to improve and adapt a lot of work there. So lots of exciting things happening in this space, yeah. Oh, okay. So I'll start with the second question. I think for me, the aspect that I find most rewarding is being able to change the lives of over 1 million Ontarians, like I said. That's why it appeals to me. I think I've always been attracted to industries where I'm making a difference in people's lives, a tangible difference in the lives of vulnerable people, right? In a previous life, I worked at the World Bank in the US. I've worked in the healthcare, in different areas where I work with people who are most vulnerable. So every morning I wake up, I'm excited that, wow, I can use technology and maybe work together to solve a problem to bring people closer and bring them out of being vulnerable. That to me is so exciting, right? In getting started, without being with the ministry only 2 years, just to past 2 years, I actually joined during the pandemic. And it was a very interesting experience and very rewarding experience. And in terms of what drove me there, I think it was really the ability to influence things on a larger scale, right? Previously, I'd been at a CIO in Saskatchewan with Workers' Compensation Board, also taking care of 1.2 million people. But Saskatchewan is, of course, a little smaller. But coming to Ontario, working on bigger, wicked problems that can really make an impact, I think it was really something that drew me to the position.